And welcome, Moose family, to another edition of the FlanFan Show. I am your host and executive producer, Giant918. Please welcome our co-host today for the evening, Mr. Jason Blaze 065, and the low-end theory himself. Jason Blaze, how the hell are you today?
Oh, well, looking for a new team name. That's ongoing. Serious business to talk about, so let's get down to it.
Low-end theory, how the hell are you, family?
What's up, Moose family? Big G, how are you? Blaze, let me suggest maybe the mentally challenged kids.
www.mooseonice.com. Follow us on Twitter at MooseOnIce. Now, Moose family, we want to go through a couple of plugs over here first on our website, MooseOnIce.com. Make sure you guys check out the December 15th edition of the Moose Roundup. Jason Blaze is back there with his rant over there. Not as bad as previously. I want to give a shout-out to these guys, Low End Theory and Rocco33, Top 10 Plays of the Week. And as always, Jim Flanagan, who's unavailable today. We appreciate your guys' feedback, things of that nature. You guys have been some of you guys are questioning why we haven't been here in some time. Moose family, the way it works is towards the end of the season, not much things going on. We got a special preview today for the playoffs. We'll discuss a couple of other issues within that. Blaze, how good is the Moose Roundup?
Well, this time around, I got to host it. It's a bit quirkier than others, but we get down to some serious business, and a lot of important facts were mentioned there, and looking forward for more feedback from you guys, Moose family.
Low End Theory, how hot are those two top tens over there that you did the voiceovers over there for the MAHL?
Listen, I know the NHL.com and NHL Network got their own guys and ESPN, but look, there's nobody better than the guys in the Moose laying it down on the top tens. I have so much fun doing it, and surprisingly enough, I've been bitching about it, and I finally got into a top 10. Actually, it was my team. We got an overtime winner, but I kept the puck in, so officially I was on the highlight. But I'll tell you what, Moose family, please, if you're up for it, get a hold of Jim Flanagan, step up. We're always looking for more people to help us out with the Moose Media. Rocco33 jumping in this week on the top 10. We got room for everybody. Plenty of game highlights and top 10s. So make sure you get a hold of Mr. Hollywood on the boards. Help us out. We're always looking for new blood in Moose Media.
646-381-4907 is the phone number to call. Just a quick reminder to any of you guys going to be calling in over here. When we answer the phone call, make sure you guys got something to say. We're not going to waste our motherfucking time. We got so much serious business to talk about, so little time to talk about it through. A couple other quick things. I'm just smelling right around the corner, Moose family. I know it's just playoff time over here in the Moose Hockey League, but it's not only that. I'm smelling the Season 14 signups. There's just something fucking magical about this league, Moose family. This is serious business all the motherfucking time. We got waivers all the time. Some of these guys have already been assigned to some of these guys have already been assigned to. So shout out to those guys. I believe one of them is Drop 73, King Romy. These guys are mad diesel. I wouldn't be surprised if they're still playing in waiver games. Make sure you guys check that out. I will be live streaming tonight with the waiver games as well if there's any room over there. A lot of these guys just take up to themselves. It's a testament to the awesomeness of the league. Not one sim loss with the exception of Legion. Legion in the in the Moose Hockey League. I don't know if anybody's surprised about that whatsoever, but for the most part, it hasn't been there. Why don't we move along to other serious business, Moose family, and we're going to keep this to a little bit of a short thing. A little bit of controversy last night, and shout out to the MEC. They did a fabulous job minimizing the Flame Fest that initially started on that thread. So many of you probably haven't seen it as well. But what ended up happening last night, Sober's last game of the season, last series of the season, and it appears that Kuzi fell asleep during the series a few times over here. Sad nonetheless. And here's the thing, Kuzi has no problem being suspended or whatever. And basically, Moose Hockey League President EWTU Eric basically explained he's going to be punished. But the fact of the matter is, and you know what, I think that the MEC got to be held to a they got to be held to a higher standard. But the fact of the matter is that if it wasn't for the MEC, the Moose Hockey League wouldn't exist. You guys see what it started with over here? 6 teams of 6, maybe 36, maybe 40 people, to over 250 now. We're going to be rolling with at least 30 teams, season number 30 next season, at least 30 teams next season, Moose family. And it takes a lot of resources and a lot of help to take care of this. Low End Theory, what are your thoughts about this situation?
Well, I mean, listen, you'd like to sit there and say that everybody's held to the same standard, but in my opinion, that's not the case. If you take a look at the body of work that Koozy's established with the league and all the things that you see with the website and a lot of things that you don't see unless you're in on those emails, look, I'm not sure. It's arguable that Koozy does the absolute most for the Moose Hockey League, and you know what? I know how hard the guy works. I've talked to him in emails about other stuff. He gets stuck at work. He's up all hours of the night. I'd love to sit here and tell you that we should stay to the same standard for everybody, but it's not true, man. This guy's earned a little bit of leeway. This guy's earned a little bit of rope, and there's no way this guy should be suspended for a season. Maybe something that everybody can agree on, but there's no way you hold Koozy to the same standard as a guy who just came into the league.
Jason Blaze.
Yeah, my opinion here is I don't even think anything was even done wrong. Sure, he fell asleep here, but who doesn't? Every once in a while, even you, Giant, you probably fell asleep for something that you felt like an ass afterwards here. I just look at it. If the team was in a different circumstance, like say they were a winning team, they're guaranteed the playoffs, would they be bitching now? No.
Very embarrassing. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was probably about 16 or 17 years old, and I was watching some pornographic material, and I was wasted as hell. And what does my mom tell me in the morning? My mommy tells me there was naked ladies on the TV. Very embarrassing. I'll tell you guys what. I never punched my clown that late at night or that wasted again in my life. So people learn. People make mistakes. You learn from them, and that's it. Moving along to other business. This hasn't been discussed in some time. Some of the things were discussed and things of that nature. I want to present this idea to you guys. It's more about the waivers. I want to give a shout-out to some of these waivers out there as well. Something bus, short hero bus or short bus. Drop 73 I mentioned yesterday. McSwagger, a bunch of these guys, they play so much times. But, and this is, so here's what I'm asking. Do waiver games count as paying your dues? How many waiver games did these guys play this season, and when did they sign up? So let's take, for instance, if these guys have been here since the beginning of December and have been playing in waiver games every week or every night that they're available, why shouldn't they be allowed to at least scout and have a shot at getting drafted in the NHL? We all know the vast majority aren't getting drafted into the MHL. At least give them some sort of reward for hanging out, putting in the time, and showing some commitment to the league. Now, let me tell you what my position is, Moose family. I used to have a position where there's absolutely no way. All these guys have been here before. They have been here in a long time. And the thing is that these guys have been here, if these guys have been here since the beginning of December. I'm not talking about the last week. Let's say the final 2 weeks going into the season, and they're trying to hustle and play X amount of games. But what about this? If they're there, so, is that paying enough? Is that paying enough dues? Jason Blaze, what are your thoughts on this?
To me, no, it's not. Everybody, that'd be slapping the face of everybody that came before them. You have to pay your dues in the AHL. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's different than playing waiver games. Waiver games, much more relaxed. You can do whatever. Try your best. In the AHL, you have a chance of being benched. Whatever. You have to be there certain times. It's not you can come up this time and this time. You have to play a better degree, and it's much more competitive. Waiver games just doesn't cut it in my mind.
Low End Theory, what are your thoughts?
Wow, the world might stop spinning because I'm about to agree with Jason Blaze to a certain extent. My question is, kind of elaborating on what Blaze had said, the situations that guys get in where we technically test them is dealing with a captain, being told things that maybe you don't want to hear about improving your game or being benched. And the other real big one, we find out about guys when they start losing. When you get shellacked 10-1 or 15-2, how do you react to that? Do you come back the next series and play hard, or are you rage quitting in the middle of the third period like a certain player just did the other night that I happened to be there for? A guy who was highly touted, a guy who would sing his own praises, and people said he was a good player. But when the pressure was on, the guy crumbled like a cheap suit. And that's the test I want to see these guys go under. And it's a slippery slope because you definitely don't want to insult the guys that came before these guys who paid their dues in the AHL for a whole season. We got to find a way to have these guys deal with a regimen where they have to show up at a certain time and play games and deal with adversity before I think that they're truly tested and ready to get a shot in the MHL, John.
All right, and here's my last point. Now, you guys mentioned that you go through let's make no mistake about it here, Moose family. The season 13 over here has been long, and it's been like out of control long. So the fact of the matter is, some guys are hungry and stuff like that. You guys make valid points too. I just want to throw it out there for you, Moose family, to think about that. You take a look at some of these waiver games. It's up on League Daddy. If any of you at all want any of the links or anything like that, make sure you hit me up, giant918@gmail. I'll be more than happy to give you the link. A lot of these games have been blowouts. So, low end talks about, adversity and things of that nature, but I get it too, because you're not listening to a captain, basically. So I believe that is a valid point as well, because you're not really taking orders. Everybody's picking a side. You guys play good games, so on and so forth. This is a structured league, basically. So there's structure and order, things of that nature. A lot of guys stepping up, a lot of new guys. We don't have we haven't posted the list of captains yet. I'm smelling that right around the corner as well. A lot of things to go over. Let's go over the quarterfinal schedule in the MAHL. A lot of serious things to talk about. 646-381-4907 is another call. First series we got up over here, the two-line tweakers against the Raging Fornicators. Raging Fornicators just annihilating shit over here. 29-6-4 for the season, picking up the President's Trophy, if you will, for the AHL, going up against the two-line tweakers. I don't think the two-line tweakers got even a shot at this. D. Mitch is a great player, in my opinion, but they're just two mixed bags over here. It's just not enough. What are your thoughts on this series, Jason Blaze?
Well, I heard they actually played a little bit last night there, 3 games. I believe the series is 2-1. Don't quote me on this, but as far as I know, it possibly is 2-1 here. Kudos to two-line tweakers here, because they actually won a game if this report is true. And, I just can't fathom how they're even holding in with the Raging Fornicators, who's been solid as fuck all season. And I think I think it's just going to be a smooth ride from here on out for the series here.
Low-end theory.
Well, seeing as how I've played both teams, and Cloudy has pretty much steamrolled the league this year with his 50-man roster. He's made all the right moves. But I will say, come playoff time, you got to have your 6 best, and you got to run with your 6 best, and screw it if you're upsetting feelings. And I just hope that Cloudy has figured out who the 6 guys are that he's going to run with. But yeah, I mean they've been a force all year. But and I don't think I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I don't think they're going to win it. I think they'll dispatch the two-line tweakers. No offense to D. Mitch, but when they get into the later rounds, I don't know that they can win it. That's just my opinion. Not to crap on Cloudy. That's just how I feel.
646-381-4907 is a number to call over here, Moose family. Let's move along to the next series over here. Lambda playing damaging Colinelli by the skin on his chinny chin, makes it into the playoffs this season. And shout out to Colinelli. This guy made it. This is his first season as a captain. He had some extra time. He took off for a couple of seasons. His work schedule was a little sporadic, but definitely stepping up this season. And, I mean, he's had all types of issues with his guys. Just as a side note, Moose family, we want to let you guys know we're working on rules for Season 14, so something like this doesn't happen again as much as pillaging, because these guys are fails over here. Looks like we got Jim Flanagan on the phone. Jim Flanagan, are you there?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you guys doing, man?
Hey, Flanny, what's on your mind today, broski?
Not much, man. I just wanted to call in. I know you guys were talking a bit about the waivers, the whole playing in the AHL, paying your dues thing. I just wanted to chime in on that. Just give my 2 cents on here, man.
Go ahead, Flanny.
Well, I mean, we've had waivers before, and I think what makes this season different from the other seasons, why this discussion is even brought about, is just the number of waivers we have this season. I mean, we didn't expand the teams. We still went with 12 because, we didn't want to see the big flakeouts, the sim losses, and then we had tremendous amount of waiver games this season, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of guys on that waivers, and there wasn't much guys that were needed in the AHL. I mean, it's a good thing because, a lot of these AHL teams are super active, you know what I mean? Whereas prior seasons, a lot of these waivers had to be used. Not so much this season. So, and I think this season, that's why there's not much guys MHL eligible because they didn't get a chance to be on AHL teams as much because we didn't need to use them. You know what I mean? But what's different about this season also, we brought in a whole League Daddy system for these waivers. Back then, we did waiver games. You didn't know these stats or anything. But now you actually get stats on these waiver games. So, it's almost as the AHL games. You're getting as good scouting reports on these waiver games just like the AHL series there. So it does help. It's a great system we put in here. The waiver games have been tremendous this season. And, as of right now, these guys got to play one AHL season before the MHL happens. But I think we have a much better scouting system put in place as opposed to the seasons prior.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, Flanny. It's a touchy subject. There are various people for it. There are a bunch of people against it, things of that nature. But again, some people, they're not really taking orders and stuff like that. They lose in the OTP and stuff like that. The lineups are changed and stuff like that. Can they handle the losses and things of that nature when it all gets down? Anything else you want to talk about, Jim, at all?
No, I'm about to leave. Just want to put that 2 cents. I think on the waivers, because of the amount of waivers and we didn't have to use them, it's really hard for these guys this season to be placed on AHL teams, even though they were super active. You know what I mean? Where prior seasons, waivers might have not been active, and that's why they weren't put on AHL teams. Where this season, there's a lot more guys on that waiver pool, and it's a good thing for next season. Like I said, they are expanding the teams. There's, all these guys are going to be placed on teams next season, and I just want to give, to the waivers that stuck out, man. I don't think it's how much games they played. It's just the time they've been able to stick around. A lot of these guys came in beginning of December, just after the draft, and have stuck around here. And season 14 is just around the corner, so they don't got much waiting from now. I know we had the holidays and everything, long season 13, but you're on the waivers, man. Get ready for season 14.
Thanks for the call, Flanny. 646-381-4907 is the number to call. Next series that we discussed, a Moose family, is going to be Lambda against Damage Inc. Now, Colinelli has replenished his roster, but still, it's going to be a tough going. Captain Fumbag's roster is just loaded. He's got Upshaw for MVP, Crazy Jigs. He's got Scotty Main. Just so much people over here. I think it's going to be very difficult for Damage Inc. To make, to even make a dent into, I'm thinking maybe they'll win one series. Low end theory, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's Fumbag's being a veteran. He knows how to run this team. They had some issues, mid-season. They lost some games, but it seems like Fumbag just got it all together. These guys went in on a roll. I know that he was a little worried there. He wasn't going to have Upshaw until Friday due to some work commitments, but apparently they've scheduled it to where the series is going to start on Sunday and finish Monday, so he's going to have his full roster. Listen, kudos to Colinelli with everything he had to deal with this year, but yeah, I'd have to peg Fumbags as a favorite here with the offensive firepower he's got.
Jason Blaze.
Well, being a former damaging player, I have a little bit more insight into this. I think it's going to come down to the defense. To me, I think the forwards are about even with Shadow Demon, and of course you mentioned their lineup. Damage Inc. got Shadow Demon, Gru, and Fall Warrior. Those are pretty good veteran wingers and forwards there. I think they can match up any day to Lambda's offense. I think it's where the defense is going to be. I think that is going to decide this series here. I think goaltending from both teams, even though Cracker Joe has been unproven yet, I think he's a solid goalie, and he can hang any day at a thug here. I think it's going to come down to the defense for both teams there, but I'm going to give it to Damage Inc. simply because Colinelli's a solid defenseman, and I don't have any insurance on Lambda's defense there.
Hey, guys, I just got a text message from Scotty Main. Apparently we screwed up. He's not on Funbag's team anymore.
Oh, he's not. All right, then.
Sorry, Scotty. Sorry to give you credit, ass.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you letting us know during the show. I suppose he's listening to the show as we speak. So shout out to Scotty Main over there for giving us the time of day, listening to the show. Let's move along to the next series. Dharma Initiative, Joe Stowe, second best team in the Moose American Hockey League, as far as I'm aware of, going up against Kale and Nusan Mice. And shout out to Kale. He's a first-time captain as well. Joe Stowe always picking up a fabulous team over here. I think he's just going to rip shit. You just look through the roster right here. I'm going through these names. Joe Stowe, Hollywood Bob, Joe 9692, Justin X, Zebra Tango, Bomber. What a tremendous lineup. Then you take a look at Nusan Mice. Let me take a look at their roster really quick. And, a.k.a. Knife. Oh, that's the guy who replaced, what's his name, Dana White or whatever.
White.
Yeah, being such a tool bag, man. And you took some shots at him in that write-up. It's not going to work.
I can get into that.
Yeah, so Boston's over here on Nusan Mice, too, and Volorn. These guys are good, but I don't think they got any chance whatsoever. Low-end theory, what are your thoughts on this series?
Well, wait just a minute there, Giant. If you look at the regular season, Kale swept Joe Stowe. I think 5 or 6 games they beat him. 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6. Plus, with Kale just making the trade for Boston, just solidifying his back end, don't sleep on Nusan Mice. We did just play him, and, we did sweep, but it was the last series, and we had the drama with Dana White going on, which a lot of guys on my squad all admit it's the first time we ever saw a player rage quit twice in the same series. Twice he rage quit. And obviously on the front page there, that all got out in the drama. I'm not getting into that. And, I was understood in my time in the Moose that if you take a shot at somebody to write up, that's where you do it. So I was trying to have some fun. I just want to put out there that I do not know French. I used a Google Translator. But, don't sleep on Nusan Mice. Joe Stowe's a powerhouse, man. He's done it all year. That team's solid. They beat us 2 out of 3. But I'm telling you, this could be the upset of the first round here. I think the Nusan Mice can win this in 7. That's how I feel, Giant.
Jason Blaze.
Well, I'm looking at it consistently here throughout the season. Noose has been flippy-floppy, losing streaks, winning streaks, losing streaks, winning streaks. Dharma's been solid all season round here. I'm not very impressed with Noose here. Kale's got a lot on his mind there. He's been having a lot of people on his back. That could impact him, especially since he's a defenseman there. If he can keep that out of his mind, I think he might have a shot. I'm still going to go with Dharma Initiative. I've been a fan of them throughout the whole season there, and if they can get their top 6 out there, I think they're going to go and win this series here, and I think they're a favorite for the Antler Cup.
Let's move along to the last series of the MAHL quarterfinals, Moose family, and this is going to be a really tight series over here. This is probably the series to watch over here. None other than our own low-end theory and Tony Soprano. And Tony Soprano, he really struggled last season. He had to kick a bunch of dudes and shit. I don't even think he was close to getting to the playoffs last season. Totally turned it around this season. So shout out to Soprano, getting your shit together, not allowing the fail to happen like it did in the previous season. And, we've described this before, Moose family. In terms of correcting your mistakes. You know what you did last season. You take a look at it. You take it to the task again. And Low End Theory, this is his first time as a as a captain. So I believe so. Doing a fabulous job over here. He's got pretty diesel guys over here. He's got Johnny Blaze, Sniper, Just Too Quick. I don't know this guy much. Brady Boy playing on defense over here. I think I'm going to give this to Soprano 4-3. What are your thoughts on this, Jason Blaze?
I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to give it to Low End Theory here simply because Tony's team, if Tony plays, typically they lose here. If he doesn't play, they win. But I'm just not very confident with the recent trades of Miss McGill's. Sure, they've been winning as of late, but who they've been playing against, I'm not very for them here. I think Low End's team, they've been dominating throughout the whole season, and they got a solid, hell of a forward line, hell of a defensive line, and they do have a relatively underestimated goalie, and I think because of that, they're going to win the series. I think it's going to be 4-2 here.
Low End Theory, what are your thoughts on this series, man?
Well, listen, first, my team's been just amazing. They've made it easy to be a first-time captain. I can't take all the credit. Sniper and Rocco stepped up and helped me out immensely as former captains. And number two, we're dedicating this playoff to Hugh Laurie, who cannot play with us due to the reversing of the trades, but he's still with us in spirit. Just want to put that out there. The big guy that you're going to have to watch, speaking of the waivers, is Metsky Diver 3. Our goalie, Just Too Quick's had a lot of connection issues, so we're not even sure if he's going to be able to play in the playoffs, so we have Metsky Diver there if we need him. He's been amazing. We're coming in on a 9-game win streak here, and my team is just hitting on all cylinders. RBB Paper Walls, my center, and Philly's Pride. He was with us in Season 4. He came back. He had to play AHL this year. These guys have been amazing. So, and we haven't seen Soprano since early in the season, so I'm not sure how we're going to match up, but obviously, listen, it's my team, man. I think we're going to win, John.
Yeah. So there you guys have it for the MAHL portion, the preview of the quarterfinals and stuff like that. Let's move to the MHL portion. This is craziness over here. A lot of great teams in the MHL this season. With only a couple of exceptions over here. So we'll go to the first series. Chronically Arthritic Fappers and Duke going up against the Lay Tabernacle. And shout out to Sobi Ifears doing a fabulous job his first time around in the Moose, in the MHL as being a captain, getting into the playoffs first time over here. I mean, but just take a look at this lineup over here for the Chronically Arthritic Fappers. And, a lot of these guys got monkeys on their backs, man. Chunky Feces, Duke, Daly. I think Sacred, I believe he's got a couple of cups and stuff like that. Sir Snipe a lot, great. It must have fallen. We'll see, man. Agent J over here. And then going to Lay Tabernacle, I'm taking a look at their roster over here. You take a look, Agent Jack Bauer, Vane Harvest, BC, great defenseman, Cool Fumble, NJ Ski. This is going to be a tight series over here. It'll be close, but I think that Chronically Arthritic Fappers, they're going to be taking this in 6. What are your thoughts on this series, Low End?
Nah, I got to go against you here, only because of Sobe. Fears, every time I read about the series and look at the stats, all I've been hearing about is Fears this season. And he's just standing on his head, and he's willing this team to win. And you look at the lineup now with Ski and Fumble and those guys, they've played together before. I think that experience is going to come in handy. I really think the Fears is going to take it. Not taking anything away from the Fappers, but I just got a feeling. Call it a gut instinct, but I think, his first season, Fears is going to move on to the next round.
Blaze?
I'm going to go against you, Lowen. I'm going to go with Jai here. I think the Fappers, I think it's going to be 4-0 sweep here, simply because, from experience, playing against Lay Tabernacle, their bread and butter is defense. They cannot score worth shit. If you cover and contain NJ Ski, who likes to take it in by himself and try to set something up, and you can get the puck off of him before he tries to do anything, or even after, then you pretty much got the game win there, and that's just from experience playing against NJ Ski.
Let's move along to the next series, Moose family. Take a look over here. Serious Business Cats going against Smoking That Herb. And Smoking That Herb, I believe, is the, JJ's team in the Serious Business Cats. They got the wild card, so have you, over here, but, in the conference. But they're going up against Smoking That Herb. And that, this fucking guy, M. Farrah, he's unbelievable. I mean, this is like the 50 millionth time this guy loves the drama. He's not playing for at least season 14, and thank God for that. I mean, you guys got to get the sand out of your vagina very fast, Take things with a grain of salt. People bait each other here like crazy. I mean, is this anything new? But you know what, M. Farrah, you're such a piece of garbage, man. You knew you probably had a shot to get into the playoffs. Good chance at getting to the playoffs. Now, someone got to take over for the team, and I believe it's D-Mart. So shout out to D-Mart. I think it's going to be a very difficult time over here. You take a look at JJDM's roster over here. Bender 79, Cam I Am, Johnny 5, Valcor, and Tired Tons of Clay. I'm not a big fan of Tired Tons of Clay in terms of being in net. I don't think he's that bad either. But when you got defense like you do on this team, with JJ and Valcor, I think I'm really surprised they got 11 losses this season. Nonetheless, it happened. Taking a look at Smoking That Herb's roster over here, D-Mart with Jason Blaze, I believe, on defense. So going up it's Colleton on defense. I'm sorry about that, Moose fam. So they got D-Mart on forward with Frosty Nightmare. I don't even know who the hell the other guy is. Is it Deco or who? Bodie? Who the hell is the other forward over here, Blaze?
That's Deco.
It's Deco. He's a very defensive center there. He's been setting up D-Mart and Frosty up. I think they're a pretty good tandem. In terms of my prediction for the series, I'm not going to even mention anything, only because I am involved in this series here. So it's going to be interesting to see how we match up to another playoff team here. So,
Low End Theory, what are your thoughts on this series, man?
Yeah. Look, big ups to D-Mart for pulling this out, or D-Mart for taking it over and trying to put this together. But considering Farrah's big fail and is pooping in his undies there, idiot. Thanks for coming. Take a hike. But look, JJ's solid, man, and Frosty is a hell of a player. But I think with the defense there, they're going to shut him down. This looks like a sweep. Serious Business Cats are going to get some consolidation here. Smoking that herb, they're going to be smoking right out of the playoff.
646-381-4907 is the number to call. Give us a call over here. Let us know what you think. Just a couple more series over here, Moose family. And this is one of the favorites over here. Gracious amounts of energy going against moves like Jagger. And it's kind of like a joke.
Gratuitous, yeah. Giant. I rip Blaze and Holly over this every time, and I can't let you off the hook. It's gratuitous amounts of energy. And Jay-Z Jaworski will be happy I got that right.
Well, shame on Jay-Z for making such a word that so much different people have difficulty pronouncing. It's just retardedly annoying at times. You take a look over here. I don't even think this is going to be funny. I think Ed the Pimp is just going to want to be maybe putting on his sleeping glasses or something during this series, because look at this, man. You got Crazy Bad as a backup, Pittsburgh King. Look at their defensive lineup over here. Ice Cream Chuck and all juiced up. All defense over here, Moose family. Jay-Z up front. Santana's Blanco. Oh, superstar in net, man. Holy shit, man. And then you take a look at moves like Jagger. I mean, let's take a look at their roster, Moose family. And you take a look, slightly let. He's nasty. Ed, he's all right on D, but they got Jets Killer as a backup. Scotty Main over here, Buckeye Dude, I believe that's a backup. EWTU Eric back there on defense along with Bane. I forgot what the hell his former gamer tag was, but Flexible Pancake over here, fabulous goalie right here in the Moose Hockey League. I think this is going to be a complete sweep. Low End Theory, what are your thoughts on this series?
Gratuitous amounts of goals. Who's stopping Jaworski? Won the Cup last year, puts together this Diesel squad now. Look, thanks for playing, Yager, but you could have Yager out there skating and it's not going to make a difference, man. This is Jaworski, gratuitous amounts of energy with Christ, 4-0, but it would be quicker than that if it could be.
Jason Blaze.
Yeah, I agree with you. The guy you mentioned there, Bane, that's courageous Cuddy there. I just don't think he's got to cut it either. I think gratuitous amount of energy, they're just too much for this team. Yager, they've been there, but they haven't been. They're a flippy-floppy team here, and I think gratuitous is going to take the sweep, of course.
All right, Moose family, and this brings us along to our last series in the quarterfinals in the Moose Hockey League. Worst kinds of people with Captain Timeless going up against Drift King. Never Say Never. I forgot what the hell he started his team name with in the beginning. Nonetheless, worst kind of people. They got a great lineup over here. We'll go over it quickly. Special Ed, Meet the Assassin, Magilla. Backups look like DD, Shadow Demon, Timeless over there on defense, and Malone on right wing, and Hate Maker. What a great backup players this guy. I mean, Timeless did a fabulous job getting this roster together right in time for the playoffs. Let's take a look at Never Say Never roster. And I'm taking a look over here, the Wallace, Human Typhoon. I forgot what the hell his name. I think it's Raven or something like that. But look who they got. I think they got like top 2 or top 3 guys in scoring in the league. Stealth Luka D and Lebunskis. And over on defense, I think he's got Derek and Uzner and Tackle Dummy in net. I think this is going to be a really tight series. Nonetheless, I really think that worst kinds of people is going to be taking it in 7. Low End Theory, what are your thoughts on this?
Listen, just shoot me now if I ever back a team that is based off a Justin Bieber movie. That's the first and foremost. They're like, pull his man card. First of all, don't even change your team name. Justin Bieber, like, really? Did you go get your hair cut that way too? Nah. Never Say Never don't have a chance. I like worst kind of people in 6 in this one.
Jason Blaze.
Oh, man, I'm cut down the middle here. My 2 favorite teams in the MHL. I've been tooting worst kind of people's horns all season long here. But from experience of playing Never Say Never, and from looking at League Daddy here and the stats, I think Never Say Never's going to win it by Game 6 here. I think the forward line's just too diesel. You don't get top of the leaderboards for scoring for nothing, and I think they're going to show that here in this series.
Yeah. So this basically concludes, what we're doing over here. We wanted to give you guys a quick review. We're going to have it, come the semifinals and stuff like that. I want to give a couple of quick shout-outs to the guys in the MAHL. The reason that a lot of these guys get to the MHL and the big boys over here are because of guys like these. Shout out to Lil Spoiler. I want to give a shout-out to We Kill Kenny and B.D. Smith. Shout out to Kale and shout out to Saint, man. These guys did a tremendous job. I just want to commend them, working with what they got. Some of these guys will be around as captain next season, I'm sure. Some of them won't be. But kudos to a lot of these guys over here doing a fabulous job. Couple of quick plugs, Moose family. Make sure, and I don't know, maybe Drift King could confirm or deny this, that the MHL and MAHL All-Star games will be played for tonight. Can you confirm this at all, Blaze?
According to the front page, and according to, as far as I know here, being a captain, Low End Theory, make sure you're on tonight, because I for sure know the AHL is going to be tonight. I believe the MHL is also going to be tonight, but the MHL versus AHL series is going to be rescheduled from tomorrow night to a later date due to playoff activity.
Anything else on your plate, Low End Theory?
Yeah, quick shout-out to going what you said earlier. Let's give a quick shout-out to Crazy Yeti Killer, taking over King's team in the MAHL Devils Rejects this season after King had to bow out some work commitments. Jumped in there head first, making trades, trying to make things happen. That was a pretty stand-up move, and I definitely think we should give him some credit for that.
Yeah, I apologize about that, Yeti, too. Definitely should be giving you a shout-out. And I think my chair just broke. I'm going to get emo as fuck. My motherfucking chair just broke, man. This is my executive chair that I do all this shit through.
You need a new chair. You need a new John.
Oh, my God. That's all the time we got for today. Continue to check us out, www.mooseonice.com. Follow us on Twitter at Moose on Ice. Jason Blaze, Low End Theory, Giant 918, signing out. Have a good night, everybody.